second week of February 2017. In our study of the configuration of the solar system, we know that there are 9 planets, if we include Pluto in the mix. But the idea of a 10th planet has been theorized for a considerable period of time. The belief that a rogue planet is hidden somewhere within our solar system actually dates back to our ancient history, where previous civilizations suddenly disappeared or were lost for reasons that are not entirely understood or explained. However, the single most important aspect in our study of the historical records is the suggestion that what may have occurred in our past be a lesson to future generations if humanity is to survive as a species on this planet. If we are certain that something big is coming our way, then it is imperative that we be prepared when the time arrives. In my previous videos, I provided a hypothesis that supports the theory of a rogue planet or a system of planets that is approaching us, along with a multitude of events now taking place on Earth that give credence to the existence of a massive body. But how do we survive an event of such great magnitude? What are the options that we have at our disposal to help prepare the way? Here are some simple suggestions that may help you in your preparations. Mind you, this is only a blueprint. What you may ultimately decide to do is yours alone to make. But at least it gives you a formula to use in your survival preparedness. I mentioned how we know when the system gets closer by the number and frequency of Earth changes and the severity of climate change and extreme weather. It will be necessary to be as far away from metropolitan areas as possible, as these will be hotbeds for crime, rioting, and looting. You must have a plan in place for relocating from these areas at least many weeks prior to the passage of Planet X. We know that earthquake activity is rising dramatically. The most dangerous metropolitan areas for this type of event are cities such as San Francisco, the entire Los Angeles basin, Seattle, Washington, and Anchorage, Alaska. All of them situated along the Ring of Fire. In addition, such cities as St. Louis, Missouri, and Memphis, Tennessee, that are located within the New Madrid Fault will be susceptible to major earthquake activity. You also want to be at least 100 miles from any nuclear power facilities. So go to the link provided here, which shows the location of these power plants in the United States. Most are situated on the East Coast and in the Northeast. In terms of coast preparation, it will be to your advantage to be at least 150 miles inland. This would include the Gulf Coast states, the Eastern Seaboard, and the West Coast. In order to survive the rising seas that will be created during the passage of this planetary system, you should plan on being in an area where the elevation is at least 600 feet above sea level. That would include relocating from all coastlines and all major rivers and tributaries that will be susceptible to catastrophic flooding. For those who reside in large countries or are considering relocating to other nations for safe haven, you may consider South Africa or the southernmost areas of South America. Such places as Brazil, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, and Argentina are among those nations you should research if you are planning a major move. One thing you must consider is that there are a number of hurdles that must be met before you will be allowed to live in those countries, and the cost of living will vary among each of them. This is especially true in places such as Australia and New Zealand, and the European countries of Switzerland, Ireland, and Italy. Relocation is going to be the most important element in your survival planning. Where you are located will make all all of the difference in the world when it comes to establishing your basic needs. Now, these are not fear tactics to get you to act on something that may or may not happen, but rather to educate you for every situation. It's always important to be prepared for any catastrophe that may arise, regardless of the severity. For in being prepared, you will be able to take immediate action. You will know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. It's also important to know there are decades of historical data that is available to us that instruct us to be ready for what is coming upon the earth. Regardless of your religious background or your affiliation, the facts are known by most of you. If you research the third secret of Fatima and the Ararat anomaly, and couple that with all of the strange weather and the frequency of earthquakes and volcanic activity that are happening all over the world today, you will have a much better perspective of the teachings that are available through the historical data. In 2016, there were more than 100,000 earthquakes that were registered with a magnitude of 3 or more on the scale. Now, that's a phenomenal number. So the challenge to you is to connect those dots and to take the action you deem necessary in your preparedness plans. If you are one of those individuals who think this is all for naught, that nothing is going to happen to you or to those you care about in the foreseeable future, then maybe, just maybe, the words of these notable men may inspire you. humans have been jumping timelines through a predicted timing for this event to take place. But it is an event that cannot be determined based on individual timelines. What we do know, based on factual observations, is that giant fireballs, the bending magnetosphere, the weird sun activity, and even the appearance of red rain are happening now. They are caused by a source often unacknowledged by Western media, who has been subliminal in reporting this in the mainstream. But apparently the Russians are more forthright in their reporting of the approaching Planet X, as this video clip implies.
Pluto, the sometimes planet, may be hiding a pretty huge secret. Well, two huge secrets, actually. Astronomers in Spain believe that hiding behind Pluto, obscured from our view, are two additional giant planets. Spanish scientists in Madrid discovered the potential for the two massive celestial bodies at the outer reaches of our solar system after studying strange patterns in the orbit of rocky objects around Pluto, including the newly discovered dwarf planet 2012 VP113. Scientists believe the first hidden world would be about 10 times the mass of Earth. They believe that this planet is moving in resonance with a bigger planet that is somewhere between Mars and Jupiter in size and would orbit 200 times Earth's distance from the Sun. But can we ever conclusively confirm the existence of these two planets? Well, Scott Shepard at the Carnegie Institution for Science had this to say: as there are only a few of these extremely distant objects known, it's hard to say anything definitive about the number or location of any distant planets. However, in the near future, we should have more objects to work with to help us determine the structure of the outer solar system. So there you have it, time will tell.
After you have determined a safe haven for yourself and your family, your next priority is to stockpile at least a 30-day supply of food that can be transported if you should decide to relocate. Remember that most grocery chains only stock a 3-day supply of food. And if an emergency situation develops, those store shelves will be cleaned out quickly. as was the case when Hurricane Sandy devastated the Atlantic seaboard in 2012. Another consideration is that many, if not most, roads will be impassable, making it much more difficult to obtain supplies. So running out of food should never be an option that you are faced with. FEMA recommends 3 days worth of food, but 30 days is a safer and more realistic goal for most families. Storing food can be complicated and costly, but you can begin with a simple list of items that will feed a family of 4 for at least 30 days. They can be easily purchased from the big food chains such as Walmart, Costco, and Sam's Club. If you'd rather shop online for non-perishable items, then I would recommend Amazon. Here then is a list of basic foods that you can stockpile in a safe location. These are mostly non-perishable items that will last for many months or even years, and they are all items that we are very familiar with. First off, buy a 50-pound bag of rice. It contains about 504 servings, and I don't know too many people who won't eat rice. It is simple to cook and it stores for years if you keep it cool and dry. This bag at Sam's costs about $20. Next, buy a bag of dry beans. A good-sized bag is about $5, and it makes 126 servings. Beans is a staple food, so best to purchase more than one bag. Cans are great for fruits and vegetables, and anyone can find something that they will eat. For canned meat, I recommend tuna or chicken because it tastes good and you can easily mix it into your rice. For the meat, you will need approximately 35 cans. Each can has about 3 servings, and this will be the most costly, but they last over a year usually, and your family probably eats chicken or tuna on a semi-regular basis anyway. So restocking this should be simple. You will need about 40 cans of vegetables, and again, this can be whatever your family will eat. Expect to pay around $1 each, so $40 for vegetables to last your family a month is a reasonable price to pay. Again, simple fruits that your family will eat. These can be fruit cocktail. That is the safest thing. At Costco, they have a number 10 can of fruit like pears or apple slices. And each of these has 25 servings. 5 of these will cost about $25 and will give your family their daily dose of fruit. Good old-fashioned oatmeal is simple to cook and store. A normal container has 30 servings each, so purchase about 4 of these as a breakfast substitute. At $2 each, that is about $8 for breakfast for a month for a family of 4. Honey is a miracle food, really, as it will never go bad if you keep it dry and cool. Honey will last you forever, and Sam's has a large container that holds 108 servings. You can use this in place of sugar. Honey even has medicinal purposes that you can use to add some flavor to your oatmeal for breakfast. Same as honey, salt will never go bad if you keep it dry, and it helps the flavor of anything. You can buy a large box of salt for around $1, and that will last your whole family for quite some time. I recommend getting some good multivitamins to augment your nutrition in the case of a disaster or an emergency. Granted, rice and beans aren't the best, and you won't be getting as many nutrients from canned fruit and vegetables. So the vitamins help to fill in the gaps and keep you healthy. One big bottle costs about $8. You will need to get a kid's version too if you have children small enough that they can't or won't swallow a big multivitamin. Everything on this list will feed the average family of 4 right at 30 days and makes a great start to your food preparations. The meat was the most expensive part, but the bill comes to around $500, give or take, but this will vary by where you live. Should you stop there? No. But this is just a good starting point, and you should expand from here. I would keep all of these items in a safe place in your home, along with your regular groceries, and rotate these to keep the contents fresh. This will be very important for you to remember to do. Once you have 30 days of groceries in your pantry or in a safe location, I would recommend looking into storing larger quantities in Mylar bags or purchasing freeze-dried foods and bulk grains to augment your supplies. You would also need to plan for basic necessities like toilet paper and other hygiene products. What else should you have? I would recommend several large candles or a propane-powered lantern, matches or lighters, batteries for flashlights, a good first aid kit, a radio that works and functions properly, and plenty of water. For a month, you will need 120 gallons at a minimum. Storing this isn't going to be as easy as it would be for groceries, but there are lots of options available that you can research on the internet for storage of water. So this should get you started on your food preparations, and my suggestion to you is that you begin the process as soon as possible. Remember, there are only two options from which to choose before a disaster or a catastrophic event comes our way. It is always a better option to be prepared in advance, knowing that you and your family will be safe and secure if and when things get tough. You can follow us on our Facebook page, post your video or image content. Message us with your questions and get the latest updates on the approach of the Planet X system, in addition to the many Earth changes and extreme weather events that are happening around the world. In the meantime, stay safe and keep looking to the sky.